What's up, everybody? Neospring's here. In today's build, we're going to be running a wizard, a shaman, necromancer on D4 for Innoruuk. So we've already ran in fake death and already buffed up. So the goal here is to have the pet tank as much as possible, slow him, and then try out the combination dots between the necromancer and the shaman. So using Odium, Ignite, Plague, and then Dark Soul, and then transitioning straight into nuking and having the pet tank as much as possible, and then using Mend Heal with Puma on the pet. So the goal is just having the pet try to dish out as much damage as possible with the Puma, and then going straight into Conflag with the reins. And if the pet dies, we'll probably summon it, but if we don't need to, then we'll just go ahead and nuke it down. So here we go. Let me just double check I got everything. I might be missing some buffs here and there, and some items might not be optimized, but whatever. With the shaman slow, I'm sure this is going to be a pretty easy fight. The goal with this build is trying to see if, as a caster, do we even need a tank? Now, I think running, instead of a necromancer, running a ranger will probably dish out more damage overall, because you're actually meleeing, and I'm not going to be meleeing this time. So let's go ahead and try it out. Let me run EQ log parser, and I'll run the parse on this as well, so we can take a look at how the damage gets broken down. All right, let's go ahead and cast Puma on the pet, and I'm probably going to forget all about Puma, so hopefully it lasts long enough. And here we go. Let's go ahead and run in power mode as well. So let's see how that does. Pet's doing pretty good. He is in pretty decent gear. Now, I did forget to throw a slug sealant on him. Let's go ahead and do that just so you can manage that aggro a little bit better. So I'm sitting around 500 DPS. My pet's around 115 right now. And it looks like I did get aggro. So let's feign death. And we will be going back into dawning now. What is that? Ignite is still on there. It looks like Plague never landed. I guess Plague doesn't land on him. That sucks. So still hovering around 500 DPS, 510, 520. All depends on the crits. But he is 570 now. He is getting 590. He is getting clobbered. He's going into healing mode, so that's great. We can go ahead and dish out a little bit more damage. See if we can finish him off. Now, do I have mana burn on here? Let's go ahead and throw a mana burn in there for fun. 600 DPS. So there is D4 Ini. Let's take a look at the parse. All right, here is the parse for the D4 Ini as the wizard, shaman, necromancer. So 135 seconds. That's pretty cool. A little over 2 minutes at a flat 600 DPS. So my pet did actually a good amount of damage, but I'm assuming that damage is probably Puma. So let's take a look. Here is the breakdown. And Puma did 3.4K damage. So that is very interesting. Boil Blood, which is the proc on his offhand, did a good amount of damage as well. And yeah, he did Harm Touch. He did Life Leech. Specter Lifetap, I'm assuming that's a spell on the neck or on the Shadow Knight side of things. But Odium did the most damage for the dots, followed by Ignite and Dark Soul. So Ignite, Dark Soul, I don't know if they're worth casting. Might be better to actually drop those and see about going into just pure nukes. But the nukes were split, and it looks like at the very end, Mana Burn only did 425 damage. So that was a waste of time. But there it is. There is the breakdown for that Wizard, Shaman, Necromancer fight. Pretty simple, pretty nice. I think you can play this with D4 for everything because the Shaman is just so overpowered. You get the dots, you get the slow, you get the heals. The Wizard nukes are great. And the Necromancer pet tank is just phenomenal. So would it be a great class to go into Kunark with? Probably. The only downside is you don't get any lull. You don't get any calms. So for me to actually run to this raid boss, I actually have to sprint through Fake Death, which is fine. It's fine because you could always just use Invocation and you can cast it while running, which I feel like a lot of people don't use this as often. So you can cast while running, you can buff while running, you can heal while running. It's uninterruptible. But going into Kunark with no calm or no lull and no CC really, that might be a hard character to push to 60, but it's still possible. And once you're 60, I'm sure you have no problem with this combo killing all those raid bosses. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video.